Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the Stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, before we start today's episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie, I want to say thank you to everyone who is watching the show on YouTube. And I want to say that if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. You can also watch the show on Gunstreamer and on Full 30 and on the, God, what's it called? On the OpsLens app. Sorry about that, I blanked out. Dude, I'm like live with no script. So please check out the show on YouTube and Full 30 on Gunstreamer and on OpsLens. You can listen to the show if you're listening to the show on all of your favorite pro-freedom podcasts. If you would like to help support the show, you can buy some Riding Shotgun with Charlie stickers and patches at ridingshotgunwithcharlie.com on the store page. And if you would like to buy some cool swag like a shirt like this, you can get them at ridingshotgunwithcharlie.com on the store there as well. So thank you guys for watching the show. Appreciate you guys watching the show, and rock on. All right, today's episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie is coming to you from Jamesburg, Virginia.
Williamsburg.
Oh, shit.
Jamestown, Williamsburg.
Jamestown, James something, I don't know. I know it's not Williamsburg.
It is Williamsburg.
No, it is Williamsburg, but it's not. We're in the Jamestown settlement.
Yeah, we're at the Jamestown settlement in Williamsburg.
Okay.
In James City County, if you really want to get confused.
I'm already confused. All right, today's episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie is coming to you from Williamsburg, Virginia, at the Jamestown settlement in Jamestown County?
James City County.
James City County on James Road. I have with me Jamie James. No. I have with me Val Evans, and Val Evans is known as the Mama Bear.
Yep.
So before we start today's show, we are going to put some Lead Slinger hand sanitizer on. This is super watery. You need 2 hands. And you need to cup them. There you go.
Oh, it is super watery.
I told you it's super watery. It's not. Lead Slingers hand sanitizer. They started making the Lead Slingers makes whiskey, but they started making the hand sanitizer at the beginning of the pandemic. So they make a whiskey, a rye, a bourbon, and I think they're getting into the IPA stuff as well. So Lead Slingers whiskey, we appreciate those guys helping us out with some hand sanitizer when they were making it.
Yeah.
Val, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Let's talk. You've got a crazy story, which is why I drove all the way down to Williamsburg, Jamesburg. And we're going to talk about you and your story and how you get to where you are.
Okay.
First thing I like to talk about is, just a real quick, we're going to take a right.
All right.
All right. You ended up using a gun in self-defense inside of your home.
Yes.
Which is something that people, some people train for, or practice for, and think about, or don't think about, but might want to realize that it could happen to them.
Right.
And this is what ended up happening to you. Oh, before we get too far into the show, I want to thank Stephen Willeford,
yes,
the Barefoot Defender, for connecting Val and I. He and I were at an event recently, and he said, hey, you should have Val on your show. So check out Barefoot Defender on YouTube. We're going to take a break.
All right.
All right, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about any growing up shooting. Did you grow up shooting? Did you not grow up shooting?
I did not.
Didn't, but you did have some guns in the house.
We did have some guns in the house. We had, shotgun that I wasn't allowed to touch. It was off limits. It was very clear that it was off limits.
Mm-hmm.
So we never ever went over it. We just had it in the house. I knew it was there.
Yeah.
That was about it. So we're gonna keep going straight.
All right, we're gonna forget that closed sign.
Yeah, that's on the other side of the road. It doesn't matter.
Right, the exit is closed, so you can't get out. I don't know.
You're trapped here forever.
Right.
But that spot I was telling you about is up here. It's a little ways up. Keep go past. No, keep going. Sorry, I know that was confusing.
No, that's
my bad.
It doesn't take much. So you had guns in the house, but your dad never said, hey, here's this and here's that?
Yep, never.
Nothing.
Yep, it wasn't until I met my husband, well, now husband, we were dating, and he's a police officer, and he said, we have guns in the house, and you're going to need to know how to use them. Uh-oh.
That is not good.
Camera malfunction.
All right, uno momento. Okay, so your husband.
Yes, and he said, you know, I've got guns in the house, we're going to need to know how to use them.
Yeah.
And he taught me how he had been taught, which, you know, he's a police officer, so it was, you know, shoot one-handed, shoot left-handed, need to be able to shoot if something happens to you.
Right.
So we did that. Back in 2007 is when I started, and we just kind of went through it all. Pull up right here. And this. Well, there's the ferry. But yeah, so yeah. I think. Yeah, there's the ships right back there. You see them?
I do. All right.
Yeah, you can just pull up here.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We'll be back. All right, sorry about that break. We had to film a gun grab, putting my two worlds together. So you're telling us your husband was the one that taught you how to use firearms?
Yes.
And he would teach you one-handed shooting and non-dominant hand shooting and, and all sorts of stuff.
All sorts of things.
Very cool.
Going from, you know, just picking up the gun and shooting, you know, point and shoot kind of thing.
Yep.
We also worked on accuracy and marksmanship too. So, you know, I have, well, we'll get to that. I was going to say I have a signature move, but we'll get there.
I love this.
We'll get to that.
No idea you had a signature move.
I do.
Very cool.
But I will reveal my signature move soon.
All right, all right. So your husband taught you to shoot. You had a gun in the house. Was it a handgun, rifle, shotgun?
Handgun.
Handgun. All right. So he is a police officer.
Right.
So I assumed it's a handgun. And do you know what kind of gun it was?
MP 40 or 45. Excuse me.
Nice.
MP 45.
Smith & Wesson MP 45. Smith & Wesson. We'd love to have you as a sponsor.
We would.
Oh, I know. Cool. So he's teaching how to shoot a full size 45.
Yeah. We also had a couple others that we had to, like revolvers and.
Yeah.
Just follow the road. Yep.
All right.
We don't have to worry about all that. Just follow the road. There's a long tour sign. Go on the long tour so we can go around the whole island.
Cool.
And yeah. So I learned on those kind of things. I learned how to load a revolver and you know fire it and all that stuff. For my birthday one year, I think it was like 2014. So it was a year before.
This incident, right?
But we had, for my birthday, and this is what I wanted to do. We went to the police range. He arranged it so that he asked the range master, you know, hey, can we do this?
Yeah.
And we went out there, and I got to shoot his patrol rifle, which was AR-14. His is semi-automatic, and then the range master's was fully automatic, so I got to shoot both.
Let's go back. AR-15.
Oh, but he has a 14.
AR-14?
Yeah.
A mini 14?
No, they have the full size 14s. That's what they carry.
An AR-14?
Because I kept saying 15, and he was like, no, that's not right. So I was like, oh.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, 14.
I would hate for Joe Biden to be right and talk about the AR-14. That would be bad.
Let's go, Brandon.
Right. Bum, 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 bum. All right. So you got to shoot the patrol rifle?
Yeah.
The patrol. I love that they call it a patrol rifle. Because in my state, if I had an AR and it had the same features as a patrol rifle, it would be an assault weapon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what most of Virginia calls it. Maybe not now because we flipped.
Yes, yes. The recent elections.
Yeah.
Woo. Low wooden bridge.
Yep.
All right, so you got to shoot some full auto. Full auto's pretty fun.
It was fun. It was very fun.
That's awesome.
I did a shotgun too that day, and then his stepdad, so my stepfather-in-law, I guess that's how you say.
Yeah.
He gave us a Mossberg 500.
Nice.
Which we have now, so we still have that. So.
Very cool.
Yeah, we're slowly collecting.
Excellent. See, guns are like chips.
Yeah.
You can't have just one.
That's true. Very true.
So very cool. You got a Mossberg 500. Mossbergs are very popular. Got one. So you're starting to acquire these guns in 2014, doing a little bit more shooting.
Yeah.
And
so in 2015, in March, he had gone to work. He worked night shift at the time, and it was 10:30 at night. And I heard this really loud knock on my door, and for a second I thought maybe my neighbor needed something, but he would call me. Right. But anyways, let me go check it out. So I looked through the peephole, and it was not my neighbor. I had no idea who this guy was, and he was just like pounding on the door. He broke it in 2 places.
Holy crap.
He kicked it with his foot and cracked it on the bottom, and he was hitting it so hard with his hand he cracked it on the top too. And I was like, this guy is coming in this house. Yeah. So I picked up the phone, called 911, because this was our plan, because we didn't live in a great area. Yeah. Our neighborhood was all right, but it backed up to some pretty trashy apartments. So we had a plan in place, and this was the plan, to call 911 and go get the gun. So that's what I was doing. When I was in the bedroom getting the gun, I heard a crash, and my first thought was, I guess he came through the garage. And then I was like, did I lock the door to the kitchen to the garage? And so I had the gun, and I'm on the phone with dispatch telling them everything that's going on. I ran outside of the bedroom into the hallway. It was a pretty small house. So when I ran out there, I saw him way in the house. Like, he had come in through the window, busted the whole frame out, came in through the window, and he was running towards me. So I fired. And I told dispatch, hey, I just shot him. And dispatch said, you did what? Because I guess they actually didn't hear it because of the sound canceling on the phone, or the noise canceling. And he kept coming, so I shot him again. And again, I told dispatch, I shot him again, and dispatch was still trying to process what I had just said. And they were like,
They're
what?
Still processing the first shot.
Yeah.
So I shot him again. Wait, you just shot him. No, we shot him again.
And he finally went down in front of our TV.
Wow, in the living room, huh?
Yeah, in the living room. Where are you going, man?
I have no idea.
Not you, him.
This is right?
Yeah, people do this all the time.
Yeah, I get it.
So there's your complete. You're going to go on the complete one. So we go all the way around the island.
Cool.
But yeah.
So he's in the living room?
Yeah, he's in the living room on the floor.
Where did you shoot him? In the living room?
Yeah, in the living room. I shot him.
On the body. Where did you shoot him on the body? Room. Right, I shot him. Where did you shoot him? In the living room.
through his left hand into his left lower abdomen, and then in his groin.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty serious.
Yeah, which is
could be fatal.
Could be. Was not. He spent 19 days in the hospital under police watch, and then they transferred him to the jail. He tried to get out of it by telling the judge that his attorney was like, well, Your Honor, he's got a bullet lodged in his spine, and he'll never be able to, walk the way he could again, and he's got a, Foley catheter, and now that has to be there all the time. Wow. And the judge was basically like, okay, and?
Right.
So the judge was on my side initially.
Well, some of us like to say, F around and find out.
Right. And,
right. So he F around and he found out.
He sure did. But it turns out he was like super high on drugs, and I think he thought he was somewhere else. But, I held him there on the floor until the cops got there. Yeah. And of course, dispatch, apparently, I don't remember this, but my husband always tells this. I asked for his name, his birthday, his social security number. Like, my dispatch training just like kicked in, and I was just like, give me all of the information. And he gave it all to me.
The dispatch guy?
No, the
oh
guy
my God.
I shot. He gave me all of his information.
The criminal? Yeah, because he thinks you're going to shoot him again.
And,
wow.
And I held him there until they got there. Dispatch, of course, was like, put down the gun. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. No. I said, I will put down the gun when the officers arrive on scene. You tell me when they're here, I will put it down and come outside. Yeah. But I'm not putting it down until then.
Great, we have bikers and a dog walker. 15, 30.
How much for the dog?
Right. Shouldn't run over dogs, but the people, fair game.
Yeah, true. They could share the road. I mean, usually they're pretty good about it, but obviously this is not a concern of theirs. They're just going to keep going.
Right. Should I honk? My car's got to be loud enough they can hear a car.
Yeah, they can hear the car. Oh, don't think they realize it now.
All right.
There they go.
Okay.
The car had to growl a little at them.
Right.
But yeah, so when the cops did get there, I did put the gun down on the counter. I went outside with my hands up like I knew I was supposed to. And
how long did it take the cops to get there?
I thought it was an eternity. In reality, it was under 10 minutes. Okay. They were actually right around the corner on another call. So
right around the corner, 10 minutes.
Well,
it's a big corner.
Yeah. Well, when I say around the corner, they were on a call at these really bad apartment complexes that were nearby. Not the one that was behind our house, but so they had to get off of that one with his lights and sirens on.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was an event. They wouldn't let me see my neighbor. Like, my neighbor came out and he was like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" Like, he was waking up from work, and he was like, "What's happening?"
With this was at you said 10:30, right?
Yeah,
10:30 at night.
And so yeah, it was definitely an event, and you know, it took a lot out of me, anxiety-wise. It took a lot to get back to myself.
Sure.
And through the next couple of years, I think a lot of things that really helped was I reached out. My sister-in-law said, "Hey, this site called the Well Armed Woman," which, as I said, I will plug Carrie all day long.
Yeah.
But she said, "This site, the Well Armed Woman, shares your story," and she's like, "Do you want to see it?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So I looked at it and I checked out the site, and I was like, "Hey, I want to be involved in this. I want to be a part of this." So
before we get to the Well Armed Woman, the guy went to jail. He went to jail.
Yeah, he went to jail.
Convicted.
He got off on a loophole.
Got off on a loophole.
The loophole being that, get this, I did not give him enough time to figure out what his intention was into coming into my house. So because of that, they could not hold him any longer in jail. And even though initially he did get sent to jail, I don't know how the court process works specifically, and a lot of it's a big blur, honestly. So they said that since I did not give him time to figure out his intention on coming in to the house uninvited in the middle of the night, that they could not hold him any longer.
Coming in the middle of the night.
Uninvited.
Uninvited. Shouldn't that already be enough to be like, what are your intentions?
You would think. Our argument, there's some sort of like very obscure code number in the Virginia law that says basically you can't do that, but somehow it slipped through the cracks that way. You can't come into the house like that. You can't come into the house at night uninvited. Like, that's like an actual law.
Right.
So that was the law that we had used initially to get him sent initially, but when we came back for whatever, the trial, I guess, I don't know, he ended up getting off on the fact that I didn't give him a chance to see what he was doing.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's still out there? Probably, unless another
He's out there limping around. I mean, he's been in and out of, apparently, my husband keeps tabs on him, I do not. He's been in and out of mental facilities and jail, so he's, you know, living a great life, I guess.
Wow.
Limping around out there.
All right, well, so much for him. Done. Done. You did what you needed to do to protect you and your daughter.
Yeah, even, and it was so, was it funny? I guess it's funny now, I don't know.
Right.
When I shot, the second time that I shot him, I heard my daughter cry from her room, the doors closed, and I literally was like, "Mommy's okay," and then just like kept on like, "If you move again, you know what's gonna happen."
Oh my God.
So like, I literally switched into mom mode in the middle of all that and was like, "I'm okay," and like,
"Everything's okay, dear, go back to sleep, everything will be fine."
Continued. And I will say, I'm super grateful for the officers that got there. The second officer that came, he was a lieutenant, and I told him, I said, "Can you please go check on my daughter? She's in the back room," because they wouldn't let me move from the spot I was in.
Really?
And I was like, "Will you go, you know, can you go check her and make sure she's okay? You know, let her know that daddy's friends are here," because he's a police officer and all that other stuff. And he did, and he sat in there, he said he read to her, he, you know, sang, he played games, like he did, you know, she was 2.5, so, you know, he did what he could to keep her happy, you know, until they could bring her out to me, which I don't know how long that was. I don't know. I have no concept of time that night, like, I don't know what happened. All I remember was I was so scared that I was going to get in trouble for shooting him.
Somebody.
And, I did not. I mean, you know, like I said, I was scared for my life, and that's why I did it. And they were like, "You're fine, everything's fine." Because he said, "Will you come with me?" Like one of the detectives, and I was like, "Am I going to jail?" And he was like, "No, you're not. I just want you to get out of the cold," because it was cold inside. It was, you know, March. It's unpredictable. Virginia's unpredictable anyway, but it was pretty cold. I do remember that.
Cold's like what, 50?
No, it was like 30.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 50's great. 50. I love 50.
Right. Oh, look at this. We see a deer.
Oh,
awesome. Yeah. All right. So this, so that kind of wraps things up with that, and that led you to the Well Armed Woman.
Yeah. Which was a really cool experience altogether. I started talking to Carrie, and she said, it was probably about a year later, like I had said, I really want to get involved. How do I do that? How can I help spread the word that, other women can do this too?
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone that I had talked to was like, I couldn't do that. Yes, you can.
Mm-hmm. You
absolutely can. And so through talking to Carrie and everything else, she ended up saying, hey, Blaze TV is coming to do some filming at my next course, and they really like you to be there, and I would like for you to be there too. So she sent me out there to do her instructor course, and I did an interview with Blaze TV while I was there. And, we talked about, all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got my NRA instructor, and then, which was great. And now I can tell people, hey, if you want to learn, I can teach you. I have that ability.
That's cool.
And I've been able to help, like, I haven't done like a whole bunch of classes and things, but I've been able to, like, my circle and people just outside of my circle, like, where I'm getting people trained, I'm getting them aware that the more you know about a firearm, the better it's going to be. You always want to know how to use it, even if you don't want to have to use it.
Right.
But if the time comes when you have to, you absolutely can, because now you're going to know how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to know about it. You're going to, it's just going to be like second nature to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, I really want to.
We're gonna repeat it and take the short one.
Yeah, can you repeat it? Yeah, go ahead. It does a short one around.
Okay.
So yeah, but yeah, it was very empowering, which is one thing that Carrie really teaches. The Well-Armed Women thing is all about empowering women through gun safety and learning how to use firearms properly and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends have gone through the same thing of, well, it was so close. It was so close in their sphere of, like, people, and like it actually happened to, like, my friend.
Someone I know.
Yeah, so it made it kind of more real instead of something that's just on TV where everybody's saying you don't need this, you don't need that.
Right.
We don't need guns, all this other stuff. We do. We need guns for this very reason, because, and though he did not have a gun, I did not know that. And I wasn't going to take the time to find out.
Sure.
Because he was coming towards me, and I was like, and this is what I said initially in one of the interviews that I gave, was it was him or me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to be me. And it wasn't going to be my daughter.
Right. I mean, let's take a look at some things here. It's 10:30 at night. He busted into your house.
Yeah.
Broke the front door in 2 places. Busted through a window.
Yeah. Took the whole frame out. Not just like broke the glass. Like he took the entire window frame out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's no reason, to me, there would be no reason to not think that this person has, bad intentions.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what his intentions were, and unfortunately for the court of Virginia, I was not going to find out because he was in my house. That was not where he was supposed to be.
That's crazy. That is completely nuts.
Yeah.
But it's the happy ending is that the happiness you and your daughter are around, and it's led you to a new place where you became a firearm instructor, and you got the Well-Armed Woman. And
yeah.
That's very cool. Do you lead a Well-Armed Woman group, or you just?
I do not.
Okay.
I've had some kind of bad experiences with the one range that's close enough.
Really?
I went to
bunch of FUDs?
Yeah. I went to say, hey,
there's another deer.
I really like to teach. I have my NRA instructor for basic pistol and is it personal protection in the home. And they just laughed at me, and I was like, are you kidding? Like, they have a Well-Armed Woman group there. Like, they have brochures on the thing. And I was like,
This is me?
Yeah,
I'm the Well-Armed Woman here.
Like, can I? And I tried to join the group, but it was just, at the time, it was too much meeting. It was too much for my anxiety to keep going, especially to the place, that range, where all the men there just look at me like I've lost my mind. Like, maybe because I shoot better than them, I don't know. Oh, my signature shot. Right.
Yes.
I said I was going to talk about this. So every single time I go to the range now, and I don't even try to do it. It's just towards the end when my hand gets tired, like I'll shoot low and to the left every time.
Low and to the left.
And that's exactly where I shot him at. My husband calls it my signature shot.
That's your signature move.
And it happens every time, no matter how hard I try and no matter how well I do. I can be perfectly concentrated right in the middle of the target, and before the day is done, I'm going to hit too low to the left.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. That is funny. So what are some other things that have happened? We were talking before we started the show about you meeting Stephen Willeford and having this opportunity. So you spoke at the NRA. So this happened in 2015, and in 2019, I think you said?
I think it was 19. It was either 18 or 19.
I think 2019. I think that was Indianapolis.
Yes, that's where I was.
I think it was, yeah.
The NRA called and they said, hey, we would like for you to come speak at the leadership convention. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. And I was thinking, like I told you, I thought it was NRA leadership, and I was like, I mean, that's still cool. Like, I'm still game. Let's do this. And as we got closer and closer to the date when it actually occurred, they were like, well, we need your social security number, we need, your address, we need all this information. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but sure. I mean, they have it because I'm a member and an instructor,
right?
So they have all this on file. But I was like, sure. And so I, gave it to them, and eventually the lady that I was dealing with, she was like, so we don't want to say for sure yet because it's not set in stone, but you may be meeting President Trump. Wow. And I was like, really? And so that's why they wanted all my information, because they were running background checks on me and stuff. So I actually did end up getting to meet President Trump, which was amazing. He introduced me in my story. He talked a little bit about my story too, and then called me up, and I told my story to thousands of people there, and it was on like 3 different TV channels, and I was like, this is insane. But cool. That's good. I want that platform because I want to reach these people. I want other women to know that I wasn't anybody really special. I just had some training, some basic training on firearms, and I was able to keep myself and my family safe. But yeah, at the NRA Leadership Convention, I also met Stephen, and we started talking, and he told me about his story. I told him about my story. We exchanged information. We were able to keep in touch after that, which has been really great. I love Stephen. He's a great guy.
Stephen is a great guy.
Yeah, and really we did that. My husband and I were both on his show the other day that he put out a couple weeks ago. So we both went on there and talked a little bit about it and things like that. And it's just good to have these connections and these, the support for this. And I've told people this before, but I've been really fortunate about support. A lot of my husband's friends are police officers, so we're already on the same page there. But even where I work now, I work in real estate now, and my boss and all of the agents that I know, they all carry, and they all. Oh my
God, absolutely.
Yeah, they all are like super supportive about Second Amendment and things like that, and they understand the need, which is a lot of people don't. And it's some people are like, but it's such an off chance of it happening. But maybe it is, but it could happen to you. Like I said earlier, I never say it could never happen to me.
Yeah, I mean the cool thing, not the cool thing, the fortunate thing with your situation is that that you had some firearms in the house, that you had some experience shooting them, and you had a plan. Yeah. You had a plan if something goes wrong. The plan is call 911, get them on the phone, which is great, and then
get the gun.
Get the gun, absolutely.
Yep.
So the good thing about that is once 911's on the phone, they can hear, they keep track of everything they recorded, and you can hear everything that's going on, which is a good thing. So.
My husband said that he teaches at the police academy sometimes, just because he's an instructor, so he just does it on occasion. So he said he went to the police academy, and he said they were using your call in the police training. Yeah, because they were talking specifically about situations where like dispatch was thrown for a loop, I guess, and then information may not have been relayed properly between the officers and dispatch, which is something that happens all the time.
Yeah.
But especially in a situation like mine, where the dispatcher could not wrap their head around what I had just said.
Yeah.
And they were using my story and my recording in there, which was
that is pretty wild.
It was pretty wild. I was like, oh, okay.
They don't pay you for this.
No, I do.
They don't give you any credit.
No.
Nothing like that.
I'm just a caller.
So what did back to speaking of the NRA? You got your nickname from President Trump, right?
I can't remember if he said it specifically, but I know all my friends call me that. And at first I was like, what are you talking about? Because they don't directly call me that to my face most times.
Right.
Although I will say my best friend, she calls me Mama Bear all the time.
Nice.
And she's like, you got this, Mama Bear.
is
do
cool.
I? She's like, yeah, you do.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is great. That's an amazing story.
I'm glad it worked out in a good way.
Right.
It took a while to get to where it was good again.
Yeah.
You know, I dealt with a lot of like PTSD from it, and my husband had a hard time understanding specifically why, because he was like, this is my job, this is how I live, this is what I do, like I don't understand why this is upsetting you so much. But you know, for him, that's just what he expects to do. He expects to, you know, walk into danger. He expects danger everywhere. And you know, for me, I was a medic at the time, and you know, our number one rule is scene safe. It's like we don't go on the scene until it's safe. So like, and especially being in my home was the big part. You know, the first therapist that I talked to, she was hung up on the fact that I shot somebody, and I was like, ma'am, that's not the problem. Like, I'm fine with what I did. Like, I have no remorse, no qualms, no, you know, anything negative about that. My problem is he came into my safe space and made it unsafe. And you know, that took a while to work through and deal with, but you know, I'm better than ever now. Years later, lots of therapy. But you know, I mean, it's in speaking about my story and speaking to other women and letting them know, hey, you know, I did this, you can too. That kind of thing has been the most helpful thing that I've been able to do.
Yeah.
And just to share, you know, knowledge and, you know, teach someone, you know, this is how to safely handle a firearm and that kind of thing has just been, you know, super, I guess, therapeutic, I don't know, but it makes me feel so much better knowing that I've, you know, empowered another woman, you know, to be like, I can do this.
Right.
And, you know, that's the most important thing in all of that for me, is that, you know, I can use what happened to me to tell someone else that, hey, it could happen to you too. Here's how you get through this kind of a thing. So, yeah.
That's amazing. That is amazing. That is pretty wild. Have you thought about writing a book about this?
I have not.
Okay.
Should I think about it?
I don't know.
I mean, it's a funny story, I guess. I was reading Mark Twain's biography, and I was like, I could write a biography. Like, I think I have enough to keep somebody interested. I think I've got enough going on. You know, maybe work through that. And, you know, so, I mean, I guess I have thought about it vaguely, but I haven't really done anything to work towards there. But I do love writing, so that would be a good...
We're going to take a left here.
Yes.
That might be kind of cool. I mean, it's certainly something to think about, and it's the fact that it's brought you all of... it's brought you around to being empowered, to teaching other women and passing this on. And, yeah, I think there's something to that for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll get writing on it.
Nice. Good. I was going to write a book, but it ended up being a pamphlet. It's really a comic book is what All right, listen, we are almost where we need to be. I want to thank you for being on the show. Where are some places where people can find you, or where you'd like to, how can people find the Well-Armed Woman?
Well, thewellarmedwoman.com. That's where you can find information on that. Carrie has a lot of great carrying options for women that are specifically made for women's bodies, which I have found to be way better than a man's holster, honestly. They fit your curves so that you don't have to worry about, like, that weird bulk. I know you don't have any idea what I'm talking about.
I do have plenty of curves, let me tell you that.
But yeah, so she's got a lot of holsters. She's got a lot of good information on her site. She does gun reviews. She does, like, not tech reviews.
Gear.
Yep, that's the
Gear
word.
reviews.
Gear reviews. Yeah. She does all that. As far as me, you can find me. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Hell of a Shot, and the last O is a 0.
That's awesome.
That's me. And yeah, that's where you can find me. So yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
I want to give you a Riding Shotgun with Charlie patch and stickers.
Awesome.
And
thank you.
I thought I grabbed an extra sticker for your husband. But here, take 2. They're small.
Thanks.
Thank you for being on the show. This is a pleasure. I love that I get to expand my circle of friends.
Me too.
And I think this is great. I appreciate you being on the show.
I loved it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
thank you guys for watching the show. If you are not subscribed to Riding Shotgun with Charlie on YouTube, please do. Please make sure you support the Second Amendment Foundation at saf.org. Their sister organization is the the Committee for the Citizens' Right to Keep and Bear Arms, the ccrbka.com. I think it's .com. There'll be a link to it. They'll be in the credits. You can watch and check out all of your favorite pro-freedom podcasts in one place at sdrn.us. And if you want to help support get the Stagecoach across America, please go to ridingshotgunwithcharlie.com. You can buy some stickers like Val has, and you can buy a patch like Val has. I know. And you can buy shirts and mugs and hoodies and all sorts of cool stuff. So thank you guys for watching the show. We'll talk to you soon.